Hello, and welcome to the stream. My name is JD Grauspitz, lead singer and streaming talent in Malignant Bear, and we are live on this Thursday because we're experiencing Rome Total War Remastered. Straight up, that's it. There's no other gimmick to it. There's no holiday we're trying to celebrate today. This game literally launched today, just a couple hours ago, and I wanted to play it, so we're gonna play it. Right off the bat, I know this is not an ideal stream game, as I mentioned in the description. The sort of, just one more turn mentality that games like this have is something that's best experienced by yourself, not witnessed, to put it mildly. I mean, there's still some enjoyment to be had out of seeing this played, but more so this is just for the curiosity element of seeing how they did on this remaster. I absolutely love this game, as do a lot of other people in the band. Total War series is fantastic. Tons of great games in it over the years. This originally came out in 2004. This was the third Total War game that Creative Assembly made, and it was probably the most famous one, at least for a while. Well, until Medieval 2 came out not long after. But yeah, this was a big deal. So this is a turn-based grand strategy game. For those who are not aware, that means this is similar to a 4X, explore, exterminates, exploits, and whatever the other one is, I can never remember. So 4X is like a big, huge scale strategy game where there's all sorts of elements you have to manage. And Total War is a version of that, with the caveat that some of the other elements maybe aren't as deep as they are in traditional 4X, for example, in Europa Universalis or Crusader Kings. But to compensate, the combat is a whole lot better. Way more interesting and engaging. The combat is more like an RTS, and the other elements are just sort of a watered-down 4X. So that means the series is much more approachable than something like EU or Crusader Kings is, for everybody. But it's not quite as intense as sort of the heart-pounding action of, the APM of, something like StarCraft or Command and Conquer. So there's a lot to be said for this. There's lots of difficulty options, lots of different races you can play as, different factions. There's a lot of cool stuff in this. Again, totally love this game. Was very excited to see that there was a remaster. So we'll jump in and talk about it a little more. We'll see how the screen capture works, because this game does not like to be alt-tabbed. There we go. Okay. Wow, that's really loud. Let me adjust that. I thought I had that adjusted pretty good, but I guess not. It's still incredibly loud, isn't it? Down even further. It's a shame, because the music in this is great, but if it's going to be that loud, it doesn't have to be quite that great. Okay. So, this is a brand new remaster, again. Launched a couple hours ago. So this is a remaster of a game from 2004. They completely redid it, touched it up in a new engine. And I will say, just as kind of an aside, in all of the stuff that they released for this game, when they talked about it, they said this is currently the only remaster they're working on, which I think is a blatant lie. I mentioned this game came out in 2004, and Medieval 2, another Total War game, came out not long after, running off this same engine. There is no way that they're not going to use this same engine again for a remaster of Medieval 2. It's just, they'd be stupid not to. I don't think it'll cannibalize sales for Warhammer or anything like that. But yeah, I will say right off the bat, this game commits one cardinal sin, and that's there's way too many launchers for this thing. 3 if you count Steam as one. So you have to launch the game through Steam, which then opens Creative Assembly's launcher. Then you have to launch it through that, which then opens this game's own launcher, which has some of the options, and then it launches into the actual game. Because this is a remaster, I'm going to demonstrate some of these settings here. As here we have the graphical settings, and you can see what I have it set to. I'm using VSync rather than the frame limiter. I don't think it really matters. Either one would work. I saw one Steam review for it, and somebody said the UI is too small. It's a shame that they don't have a way to change that. It is a little small, though. I will give him that. Or them, whoever it might have been. But audio settings, you saw briefly. I had to turn the volume down very quickly because it's quite loud. Controls, there's a lot of them. Gameplay settings, there's not a whole lot in here, which is odd. There's a whole lot more once you get into the actual game, though. So, there's multiplayer in this. The multiplayer is just the battles, or at least it is on the newer ones. You might be able to do full campaigns, but you'd probably have to set that up over LAN, just because a full campaign of this game takes dozens of hours. This is not a game we're going to be streaming multiple times. This is a one and done just to check this out. But we'll go in, we'll do a new game. So you have the option of historical battles. So you can see, you pick all these different fights, and these were actual battles that happened in history, recreated in the game. Or you can do an actual full campaign with the campaign map and all of these different factions, and then some. These are the factions that you can play as. One of the big features of this remaster was that they made it so that these factions have more depth to them. In the original game, there was this many. Some of them were very bare bones. Basically, if you weren't playing as, like, pretty much any of these, like, top 12, good luck. And even some of them were pretty rough around the edges. They've fixed that for this. They've increased unit rosters and diversity in the units and the tech trees and the buildings. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go in. Each faction has their own win conditions. So you can see the first three are different Roman families. They start slightly different places. They have pretty much all the same units, though. Here's Macedon, Egypt, Seleucids, Carthaginians, Parthians, the people of the Pontus, the Gauls, the Germans, the Britons, the Armenians, Dacia, the Greek cities, the Numidians, Scythia, the Spanish, which was, I think this, I guess depending on the time, yeah, 270 BC, okay, that makes sense, and Thrace. Just for the sake of this showing off the game, we're going to go as the House of Julii. They're sort of the default faction in the base game. You have some options here. You have your advisor, that's the tutorial tips that happen in-game. We're going to leave them on high because they ported the gameplay and everything directly from this old one. They touched up the graphics and some of the camera settings, but gameplay-wise, this is a game from 2004. The modern Total War games are much more accessible than this. Again, much easier to get into, much easier to understand, much better interfaces, more options, much more diversity in terms of their factions and rosters and everything. Not so much in this one. So we're going to keep that on high. Again, I like this series, but it's been a very long time since I've played this one. You have two different difficulty sliders here. Your campaign difficulty, which is the overworld map and things you see on it, and the battle difficulty, which is what you see in the fights. We're going to keep both on easy, again, just because it's been a while. Turn on arcade battles. They're quicker and less realistic, and we'll talk about that when we see some fights. There's a lot of mechanics in that. Realistic governance is you have to have governors. This is something that they turned off in later games. Again, much easier to get into. No battle time limit. We'll keep that off. We want a time limit. Follow characters. That's just camera setting basically. And short campaign. 15 provinces. Either way, we're not going to be able to finish this on stream. There's no way. But we're going to go ahead and start. Yep. Tutorial must be played using the recommended medium size. you want to continue? Oh, wait. Okay, we just want to turn it on high. I did play this earlier to confirm that it did run, and I did the tutorial for about an hour.
Gods. I hate Gauls. My grandfather hated them too. Even before they put out his eyes. Did you think I'd be out here on the frontier without good reason? Yes. Rome needs a strong frontier. No! Rome doesn't need unwashed barbarians at her gates. So, that's why I'm here. The leader of the Julii, to bring Roman order to stinking Gauls. Revenge? That'd be good too. This war against the Gauls won't last long. And when it's done, I've got plans. This is all about power. Power in Rome. Going down that road means dealing with all my rivals. The Senate, the Greeks, those Carthaginian elephant riders, the Scipii and the Brutii families too. After all, the man who controls Rome rules the world. And one day, I will be emperor.
Of course, I let that play. It's a very famous intro to this game. They referenced it in the trailer for this. It's worth pointing out this game dropped out of literally nowhere. They put a trailer out like last month, and the game was up for pre-order, and that was it. There was no indication they were working on this or anything. It just sort of happened. Okay, so here we have our campaign map, and you can see we start here in Italy, in Rome. It is 270 BC, roughly 200 years before Rome becomes an empire. Rome is split into factions. It's just a republic at this point. Basically just controls Italy. And our objective is to take over the Mediterranean world. And you can see when we zoom out, this is the campaign map. This is all that it is. My chair is squeaky today, I don't know why. I think it's because the weather is changing. You can see here's the factions that we've encountered so far. There's the three major Roman houses. The Senate, they are their own faction in this. They control the city of Rome. As of right now, that will change. And Gaul, for those who don't know, Gaul was the people that lived in sort of basically southern France during the Roman Republic and Empire periods. And yeah, they fought with the Romans quite a bit. So we'll zoom back in though, check out what we're working with here. So you can see right away, looks a little bit different than it did back in 2004. It's as far as we can zoom in, unfortunately, so we can't get too much more fidelity than this. Looks pretty good though. They did a good job with this. My apologies if my keyboard is loud. I got a new one recently. This is a SteelSeries Apex 7 with the red keys. They're pretty loud. Feels pretty good though. Anyway, so you can see we have some cities. We start off owning Artium and Arminium, just two towns in Italy north of Rome. See the other families own some minor holdings south of it. We'll deal with them later. First and foremost, we need to deal with the Gauls up here. Moved in rather close. Some rebels here too. So we're going to look at our armies. We start with two of them. Bibus Julius, this is one of our generals, and this is Flavius Julius, he is one of our faction leaders. The older Total War games are unique in that your characters have ages and they absolutely matter. Flavius will eventually die. Every turn in this game is 6 months. So after 2 turns, he will be 48 years old. We will see the passing of the seasons in this game. And again, he will eventually die and we will need to have a successor so that we can continue the game. So the older games were a little heavier on the 4X mechanics like that. See, we have some units here, some basic Hastati, Triarii, and of course some archers. This guy, he's got some just very basic stuff. And we also have some units garrisoned in our towns. Let's see, what can I do here? I'm going to transfer these units to Flavius. Because I want him to have more stuff. And then I'm going to move this guy over to Armenium, just so he's kind of hanging out there. Here's one of our agents. He's a spy. And he spies on things. He gives us more details about these other settlements. So I'm going to set him up here and get him to start looking at this other faction, because we're going to fight them eventually. But once we get to the ability to do that, we'll actually do it. We have our main general, Flavius. See, he's got a couple units. For all of these, we can right-click on them, get more information about them. There's a whole bunch of stats here. A whole bunch of stats. All of them have this. Great soundtrack. So glad they remastered the music too. You can add more. You can recruit units when you're in one of your home provinces, or mercenaries if you're not. Or you can recruit units directly from your town, and these are the ones we have based on the buildings we have. So we'll look at our town here. And you can see these are the buildings that we have built already in this town. This is as many as we can build. These cost gold. That's the only resource in this game. You can see it's up there in the top right with the map. We gain a set amount every turn depending on the buildings that we have in our territory and some other things that are going on. I don't know if we'll build anything right now. I don't think we really need to. Maybe in this town we will. Let's see. Can I build horses? Yeah, okay. That would be good to have. So you can see here in town, I have some basic units stationed here. You can recruit more, which I'm going to do. This town could also use some more. Also recruits other agent types. Here's a diplomat. And peasants are very cheap and crappy. You get a ton of them, but they die pretty much instantly against anything. We have another agent. Let's see. What we're going to do with him is we're going to send him, he's a diplomat, and that is how you do diplomacy in this game. It is not just automatic like it is in the newer ones. You have to actually have a diplomat and send them to deal with other factions. So that's what we're going to do. Put him in this boat so he can go and do that. And there is no naval combat in this game. There just isn't. Or at least, I don't think there is. Oh, it's been so long. Yeah, we'll try it. I don't know. But what else is going on this screen before we do anything else? Oh my goodness, there's so much to talk about with this game. Here we have our tutorial. So she's going to suggest things that we can do, recruit some things, build some things. Too late, already did that. Here we have alerts. These change every turn based on what's going on, both with you and other factions in the map. We have all the news, again, information about what's going on. We have reports, this will change. We have missions. The Senate will assign you missions. They want me to take over this city, which we're going to do. What else is going on here? Okay, yeah, that's just the map overlay again. And yeah, let's go for it. So this settlement is rebels. This settlement does not have walls. We can just go straight into fighting it. You can see the army they have is a warband and peasants. We're going to decimate them. Just gonna fight. You have the option of auto-resolving every battle in this game if you want to. This little bar here is what determines that. The more blue is on the bar, the higher chance you have of winning, both in terms of fighting the actual fight or just doing the auto-resolve. You can choose to do a night battle. We won't do that for this. We'll just do regular fight. So you can see the units I have, my strength, yeah, my command stat, my influence. What is this one? Management. You can see they don't have a whole lot of anything. So I'm gonna go in. They even remastered all these old loading screens, which is good because they take a while. I have this installed on solid state drive, and these are still fairly long loading screens, unfortunately. Well,
do not fear these rebel slaves. They are only slaves, and will die as easily as cattle. Now, take up the sword, string your bow, look to your arms and armor. Now comes the hour when we test Roman courage!
I did not need an army this big for this fight. But I want to be thorough. So you can see it gives me information here about the tactical map. It gives a top-down perspective, which is cool. You can totally do that if you want to. You can see, you can configure different things here in that little side menu. And there's a built-in wiki in the game. And it covers literally everything in the game. So you don't have to alt-tab out or open up the Steam overlay to see that. Which is pretty cool. So you have time before every battle to deploy your units. They can be deployed in this red area. And that's it. Your units are in clumps. So you can see this is my general. All of this is my general. He is not a single unit as he is in Warhammer Total War. They are a group like this. Your general is heavy cavalry, which is really overpowered, especially early game. You can position them in different ways. So you can see this little green thing is how they'll be put on the battlefield, what their formation is going to be. I want probably the triple line is the best. We have Hastati, and these are your very basic infantry. A ton of them actually. Let's move them over a little bit. And here's some missile units. Okay. Make control groups of them. And we're going to put them there. And what else do we have here? We have our Triarii. We don't even need to use these. It's not going to matter. Okay, so you can make control groups just like you can in an RTS. Again, the battles are a little bit more RTS focused than some of the other elements are. I'm going to keep these back just in the incredible off chance that something goes awry. It won't. But, I want to be prepared just in case. You have a whole bunch of options for how you want to position things. Keep my cavalry to the side. Start the battle in deployment. And what I want to do is... Let's see. There's a way, yeah, you can lock all of this together. So they'll all move up as a group. You can see their speeds, their stats, how many of them there are. For some of these units, they have ammo because they have ranged attacks. You can make the AI control them, which is just a kind of boneheaded move. Might as well just auto-battle at that point. See, here's our enemy, hold up in the middle of this town, because they know I'm going to come and just completely wreck them. So they touted the fact that they did a better job randomizing enemies, or not enemies, just units in general in this game. And yeah, I think they did a good job. Again, these are just sort of the peasants, very basic peasants. But we can see the same thing with our units, I think. We zoom in on that. There we go. So we have our cavalry. I guess harder to tell with them because they all have helmets on. Some of them got beards though, you can tell. It's kind of neat. They're ready to go though. So what we're gonna do is these horse lads go around there and see the path they'll take, how they're gonna get there. And these two we want to put there. So we want to put there. So we're positioning our units so that they can get into combat with these guys. And there's different combat speeds. I have it on basic right now. You can pause, you got half speed, you can go faster. I'm gonna go way fast here. Just for streaming purposes. Once the battle actually starts, I will zoom in and we can see the carnage a bit better. Great. So I want these guys to move up here. Yeah, this is absolute overkill for this battle. You can see what we want to do is go a little slower here now. And you can see battle has been joined. My archers pulled them out. Now they're fighting. I'm going to circle around here. And here comes my cavalry for a charge. Heavy cavalry are devastating, especially early game. So I have them set to charge. They're gonna go a little faster than they normally would, at least they should be. No, they didn't go for it. I don't know why. I wonder if it's because of the terrain. See arrows coming down, my archers are doing their work. Circled the enemy here. I don't know why these guys aren't doing anything. Just not feeling it, huh? Yeah, whatever. Again, it doesn't matter. We're gonna win this fight. It's not as violent as the newer ones are. Total Warhammer is just a brutal game. Oop.
The enemy general is dead. His men know that doom approaches.
Okay, so you can see we crushed them there. We lost hardly anything. Isastade lost some, but that's not much.
And this day is clearly our victory.
Clearly won. Is there even anybody left? No. Okay. 0 soldiers. A clean sweep. So you can fight units in cities like this. For cities with walls, you have to besiege them first, and you can see their siege weapons like in this little picture here. For this, there was no sieges, so... Every time you capture a city, you gain some choices here. You can occupy it, get some money, you can enslave the people, which means you occupy it, but your other cities get more of a benefit, but the morale of the city you've captured has gone down, which is something you need to manage. Happiness and morale is a feature in this game. Or you can kill everybody. We're just going to occupy it. This is a Roman city once again. Starts off with nothing in it, so we have to build everything up. Our general automatically is set here to garrison, which we want to do. Garrisoning units here, especially when you've just captured something, is what keeps the morale, the public order, a little bit higher. You can see we have stats here about the village. Population it has, population it needs to do things, how much income it's going to give us, tax income, its strength. But we're in a good place now. You can see we did this mission. They've given us 5,000 denarii as a result, which is great. What does she want us to do? Build a thing, I did that. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I can. Okay, I want to build something here. Can't believe I forgot that. Let's go ahead and build a trader here. We can do that. Yeah. So we're going to end the turn. You can see it's going to show us the rest of the map. Some of the animations are still a little stiff in this. Here we have the diplomatic screen. So he sent, this is the Gaul faction, they sent a diplomat to me because they want trade rights with me. And you can see it shows this is my faction, it's my reputation, that's how much money I have, those are my allies, it's the other Roman families in the Senate. I'm enemies with the rebels, as everybody is. I already have some trade partners going on. I have a bunch of different traits that I have. I don't know anything about the Gauls, though. They're stronger than me. That'll change pretty quick once I start capturing their cities. So they want trade rights, which means that we'll have gold coming both ways every turn.
Thanks.
So you can negotiate there in the trade window, or in the diplomacy window. There's a whole bunch of options for things that you can do. Now we're just going to accept that off the bat. Right, you can see the next turn. So we have a new assignment. The Senate wants me to blockade the port of Syracuse, just down there. owned by the Greeks at this point in time.
Set sail!
Here you can see another city. I'm going down here because I want to interact with Carthage, which is right here. They're another major faction. I want to set up relations with them early. You can see their reports. Here's what I recruited, in what towns. I'm recruiting more next turn. Here's what I built, nothing else queued. So the income I have, it breaks it down into what you're getting and what you're spending. My army upkeep is massive right now. Especially for so early, that's a little concerning. Here's the news. It tells me about things that happened. So the Greek cities made war with the Senate and the Scipi, the blue faction there. I'm the richest faction. Cool. Okay. So we want to attack Gaul. Just straight up, we want to do that pretty early on here. Not quite yet, though. We need to build up some things here in this little town. Specifically, I want farms and roads. That'll get the population growing and more gold coming in so that it's easier to build this city up down the road. And because it's a frontier town, we'll also probably build walls at some point, too. These towns have a lot of buildings already. They're building more as we speak. And what else? Yeah, we'll build that too. Why not? We might as well build one more unit at each. And we can't do anything else there. So my armies, I did suffer a few casualties. Not many. You can see I'm pretty much already back up to full strength. I'm going to have this guy wait here for another turn and just make sure that everything's good to go. So there's turns like this where you're going to sit and do pretty much nothing, and that's fine. It is a strategy game. So my spy made it to Activium, and he's just giving me... He's a 40% chance of just opening the gates if I attack, which means I don't have to do a lengthy siege. And I was spotted by somebody, but what he's doing is just giving me information about this town. So you can see these are the agents I have. Information about all the other factions, at least what I have about them based on what I've seen. The more active you are in terms of interacting with them and having your agents, the more information you have here. There's just systems on top of systems on top of systems in this game. Again, it's a 4X, just a little bit more basic.
Set sail! Set sail!
So yeah, I moved this guy here because I wanted my agent here to engage in diplomacy with Carthage. Eventually we will be fighting them too. We're actually fairly close in strength, which is weird. That shouldn't happen. But what we want to do is, you can see, I'm doing this because you want to be able to see all the things in the diplomacy window here. This is what I can give them. This is what I can ask for them. I can declare things against them. I don't want to do an alliance. They already have some trade partners. What I want to do is become trade partners with them, and I want to give them some map information, just to kind of sweeten the deal. And I can ask them for map information too, and we'll see what they say.
Would you consider?
So they're willing to give me all that if I give them some money. Okay, so let's see, how do I... So I can make a counter offer, and by doing that, I can take those things off and just go for trade rights, which they'll accept. Alright. This guy's just gonna hang out. Just gonna explore a little bit down here, see what else is going on here in North Africa. My boat, I'll go help blockade Syracuse. Let's see. No, I don't want to attack it. Just want to get over there, and then eventually I will. So we can see what else is going on. ended that turn. Here's what happened then. See, the snow has melted, and Flavius has gotten a little bit older. Still the richest faction. There is a war happening, and our spy was successful. Actually, what we will do is send him over here instead. Okay, so we can see, here's what the Gauls have. It's not a lot. So we're going to end the turn. I'm going to take a little water break here. Alright, so we're still just building up. That's an important part of the early game here. You can see the buildings we've built, the armies we've recruited, and what can we do here? We still can't recruit a whole lot here with this guy. If we wanted more, we would have to send him back to town, or something different that the older games did is I can recruit units back here and march them individually up here to Flavius. You do not need a general to send units across the map, which is very different than the more modern Total War games where you have to. So there will be times when you'll just have roving bands of units that are just more of a pain than anything. So for example, these ones, they have a captain, but that's it. There's not a whole lot else going on there. As opposed to me, I have a full-blown army, but even this, I can spread this out. If I just want Flavius to sit here in this town, keep him safe, I can. I can just send out the armies. They're not as strong if they don't have a general, though. So, I usually still want to do that, but it is an option. Alright, so they want me to blockade this port. I don't remember how to do that. Looks like they're already fighting it, so I think they've got that covered. I mean, I'm still going to help, but the Senate tells me I have to. Alright, so we're already trade partners. Let's see if they'll give me map information now.
A most generous proposal.
Oh, they accepted it, okay. So you can see it's not, they don't give you full map information. The fog of war is still there. I just know what factions are different places. And in return, they know what's here now. They did anyways because it's the AI, but, you know. Okay. What else is going on here? Not a whole lot. What I might do, just to kind of demonstrate this. So you can see here's my units. They have a captain now. Instead, I want them to go over here with my general, and they'll finish that next turn. Let's see. Recruit some more units here then, just so I have them. Not that Town Watch are very good, but you want something in your cities just in case. Because once these units group up, I'm going to start fighting Gaul. And what else is here? Not you. It's town. Okay, so that's still building. You can see what I have queued up. Do I want to build buildings here? Probably. Let's see. See, some of these things I already have, so this will just instead upgrade them. I think I have stables, or do I have them here? I do, okay. I don't have archers at any of these. You're gonna get that. Okay. So end another turn, path blocked. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. Sometimes it gives you weird little messages like that. So far, so good, though. I think they did a good job on this. The mechanics are pretty much what I remember them as. although again, it has been a while, but when they said they kept it as it was, I have a reason to believe them. So obviously there is a Rome Total War 2, came out in 2013, was it? It had some issues when it launched, to say the least. It's a significantly better game now, but that hurt their reputation for a while, so... Okay, so now... I have to select them all, that's right. Okay, so you can see this is my army now. And... I'm trying to think the best way to do this. You can see there's little mountain passes here to get through to these other settlements. Why do I see this? It's so weird. I want to capture these towns, though. So here's my army, ready to go. And I left this town undefended, which I know is bad. But we kind of have to at this point in the game. Hopefully they won't capitalize on that. Let's see what they have up here. Not a whole lot. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and end the game. Message from the Senate. Okay, so yeah. Skip by. Captured Syracuse, so I don't have to do anything else there. Good job. They're growing quickly. Curious how fast it'll take them to deal with the Brudi. That will happen eventually. Change the animation speeds for the other players' turns.
Our fleet is under attack!
The rebels... Okay, so yeah, it's a water battle. You can't actually fight it. Just have to auto-resolve. They won.
The sea is ours!
We're the best. Okay, it's here.
Orders! March!
Some of the animations just take a little bit too long, I think.
March!
Right, so you can see we want to capture this town first, I think. Yeah. Because once we do, that army's going to come back down, and we're going to want to fight them. Because if we're here, they pretty much have to deal with us. What else can we do here, though? I feel like I need to build something else here. Let's do a barracks and a trader. Here. A sewers? That's boring. There's a finite number of buildings you can build in each city. So you kind of want to think about that. Like, I'm not going to build a stables here because I have one in the neighboring city. This does not do the province system like the newer Total War games do, where multiple cities form a province, and then you can, for example, recruit units in all of them, have province-wide edicts going on. It's just your cities are your cities, and they sort of stand alone. So, but even, again, with that considered, having multiple barracks makes sense because that's a bunch of basic units you can do in every town. But having, two stables right next to each other kind of pointless, especially this early in the game. Later on, once I am at war with these other factions, sort of closer to home and they're much stronger, it might make more sense to just be able to crank out armies, but right now it doesn't. Let's see, we are losing money every turn. We want to fix that. We're not building anything here right now. So, let's see, we have a trade thing already. Let's upgrade that. So you can see I already had one of these, so I'm building the second version of it. Same thing for some of these, like if I'm to build another barracks, that would be barracks level 2. So, let's go ahead and end the turn. Earlier on, we're allied with the other Roman houses, so we can see what they're doing, which is cool. Other factions have different start points, obviously. Some are as simple as just, alright, I would start down here, Messina. or Tarentum. If I was these factions, or, you know, if you're the Britons, you start up in Britannia, or the Germans in what becomes Germany, or the Gauls, you start, it's not here. I think your starting cities over there. But again, there's all sorts of neat little things with this. What's going on here? Enemy.
Orders.
Do I have a mission here? Take settlement. I don't even know if I can get there. I need to deal with this first. Delete all messages. These are boring. These are boring. Coming of age. Ah, okay. So I have some new kids here. Let's see. I don't need 3 of them here. One of them I'm going to keep. It's the governor. He needs to stay here in my largest city. The other one, though, I'm going to send over there. Yes. Are you so slow? Thankfully you can click to speed that up, but still. Okay. One of the other things it told me was a trait was increased. I think I closed that out. I will. Let's see. So you can see you have positive and negative traits, and those are determined by what you do in the game.
Attack! Begin the siege!
So for this, I have to start a siege against this city, and because they have walls. So we can only build rams to start with, and we're just going to go with that. So we want to maintain the siege, or we can break it off and run away.
Settlement under siege, sir!
You can see the some palisades up there around it, because we're going to fight them eventually. While we are besieging them, this unit cannot move, and I can be attacked by other people. So if the Gauls get it together and send more units to deal with this, they can break the siege by making me fight. And if I fight in that fashion, it'll be on the siege map. So I will be fighting in the city setting, just outside of it, so I'll have to deal with both the army that's inside the city and whatever other army attacks me. So go ahead and end the turn. Yes, I know I'm at war. Did that. So Gaul has a pretty big army over there. We'll see what they do. A little concerned about that.
Orders, onward!
Definitely want to move him over there. I could recruit more of those. Oh, I can get cavalry over here now, that's right. And dogs. Cavalry are more important though. Yeah, that's not actually going to happen. Still the richest faction apparently, which is good. That's what you want early game. So you can see I've built some siege units. I can keep building more if I want to. I can maintain the siege. After a while, the city will run out of food, and then they start dying, and then I win by default. There's only 1 unit here, so we're going to go ahead and fight it. This would be a terribly boring siege. We're going to auto-resolve just to see what that looks like, just so you don't have to see me doing a bunch of stuff to kill one thing. So you can see I deployed a bunch. They didn't kill a whole bunch. But I won. Now I have a new city. And right away we want to start building up things in this town, because we destroyed some of it. So it's a different culture. That is something that you have to worry about in this game. Some different people than me. So there are some repercussions to that in terms of their public order, their happiness, and even their how much money they generate. Where's that at? I don't know, keep hanging out here, man.
You are mistaken, sir. At once.
What about you? What are you doing? What's that?
Aye, aye, Captain.
Sparta. That big old statue of Zeus. We're just gonna explore around with this guy. There's no way to automate that, so I just have to remember that that's a thing. Go ahead and end the turn. So there's a lot of this happening in this game where you're just like, okay, I'm gonna do one or two things, end the turn. The world's gonna change, then what do I do based on that? Okay, I was a little afraid of that. So you can see he has besieged me now. Is that really all he has? Can't be, right?
Engage the enemy.
So I can choose to sally forth and break the siege, basically. We're gonna fight this because the auto-resolve here is just way out of line. He only has one thing of units, unless they're cavalry, and I kind of doubt it. Okay, so yeah, he has heavy cavalry. Alright, that's what I was a little bit afraid of. But you can see, I start here in my little walled city. For him to win, he either has to come in here and get his units on this square and capture it slowly over time, or kill all of my units. For him to do either of those things, he has to get through this gate. Considering he doesn't have any siege units at all, that's not going to happen. Let's see what he does. He's just going to wander around out here, isn't he? Where's he going? It's not like there's another way in here. Okay. I don't know why he's not doing anything. It's a little weird. So I'm going to engage him with those units while I sweep around and encircle him here. You can see there is a timer ticking down. You do have a limited amount of time in these battles. Unfortunately, Total War does this. The units will clump up, and it looks like there's not a whole lot going on at times. Can you guys break away and circle around? So sometimes you have to do things like this, where you'll try to peel out your individual units.
Gods be praised! The enemy general is dead.
Circle around.
Know their doom approaches.
Continue. Kill them. Kill them all.
Gods have favored you. The enemy are destroyed.
So we killed literally all of them.
Complete.
The series has a nasty habit of if you don't kill all of them, sometimes they will escape, and then you'll have units just running around the map, and it's a huge pain to deal with. Because they're not strong enough to do anything, but they'll still be, like, causing problems in your territory.
Victory and glory!
Alright, so that's one less enemy general for us to deal with. He automatically re-garrisoned himself back here in town, which is awesome. We're going to end this turn, and then next turn we'll capture Mito Lanham. Settlement besieged. Yeah, I dealt with that. Oh, okay. Screw you, Senate. I don't care what this guy does. Fine. So yeah, it wants to show me literally every single little animation that's going on, which is cool, but can get annoying. Okay, so we dealing with here? He's got some more units here, which is bad. Okay, my units can't move far enough to deal with him. So... And there's nothing garrisoned in this town. Although I do have, what, no spies. I thought that was slingers. Ooh. I'm gonna get some town watch here. So I have them. And what are you working on building? Do you have roads? No, roads seem like pretty important. Nothing being built here. Blacksmith. Pave the roads, definitely want that. But I apparently can't do anything else here yet? Oh, until the population grows again? Okay. Let's build a temple, I guess. Nah, maybe not. We'll hold on that one. So there's a family system where you can have other characters marry into your family, and that's a whole thing to deal with. Actually, I haven't even seen that interface yet. I haven't thought about it. Because it's not really a big deal early on. Where is finance and family? Family tree, here we go. So you can see there's me, there's my kids, it's my wife, just didn't even have a picture. There is my current heir, so he's one of my kids, you can see. Lucius, he's got kids of his own. These ones are growing up fast. Wow, okay. Where was that thing? Yeah, why not? Whatever. Where's he at now? Oh, here he is. Okay.
Imperator.
So I'm going to move him over here. I want him to take over Pitivium eventually. Marriage celebrations. Ooh. You can make it go really slow if you hate yourself. There's got to be a way to turn those off. I can see that getting real old real fast. That's always been one of my complaints about the series, is that at a certain point, the enemy AI will just crank out agents, and you'll spend like 5 minutes after every turn just watching agents just wander around the map and do little annoying things more than anything. Is there a way to like set this as a... No, okay.
Attack!
Oh hey, what's up?
Victory and glory!
Okay.
Engage the enemy!
And so you can see he had to go over here to where this bridge was. So you can't just cross the river there. I guess that's the Rubicon, isn't it? Yeah. So you can't just cross the Rubicon anywhere. You have to do it at a bridge. So. It's the famous river in history buffs. Julius Caesar was done conquering Gaul, and usually there was a rule at the time that Roman generals and commanders could not take their legions, their armies, into Italy itself. They had to be positioned up in Gaul or any other province where they were actually fighting. So when Caesar crossed the Rubicon with his armies and marched into Rome with his full armies, that was him deciding that he wanted to gain more power. So that's why that is a saying nowadays. Diplomacy happened. Let's see. You're fine with whatever you're doing over here. Move you someplace else then. I could have sworn I had you doing stuff too, but maybe not. I'm gonna send you over here to Cyprus. See what's going on there. Maybe this is just as fast as these go? Has to be something I can change. Maybe not. Play settings? No? Okay. I'm sure there'll be a mod for that. The early games in this series, and even the current ones, have pretty big modding communities. Medieval 2 that's the thing that it's most famous for. It's a solid game in its own right. It has a massive modding community that's still active to this day and cranks out tons of content, like total conversion mods where it's like Medieval 2 now takes place in Middle-earth, or Game of Thrones, or Star Wars even. It's crazy, just the amount of stuff that people have done. So you can see, this guy's scared. He has a bunch of his armies up here now. We're going to auto-resolve this battle just because I want to take this city immediately. Or I want to start fighting this city immediately, I should say. Okay, so we're going to continue the siege here. So yeah, we dealt with one of the generals there, so that makes this a little bit easier. For him to try to break the siege now, he wouldn't be able to, because I took them out slowly, instead of having to fight just a death ball of units, as they're called. Let's see what else. Anything else I can do in these towns? Everything looks good. This is progressing slowly, but that's fine. Say muster field. So for this, because it's not Roman, we can convert it to Roman things. So again, we have a barracks already. We want that to be Roman things instead. The barbarian units aren't quite as good. So we're going to do that. And go ahead and end this turn. Don't know what's going on there. What's the significance of that? Did I die? What? I hit end turn and then it just didn't end? Okay. So there might be some little kinks to still work out here.
Fleet ready.
Oh, it just looks like they were gone because they're kind of hidden there. Okay, that's fine.
Yes, Captain. Aye, aye, Captain. Aye, aye, Captain.
Yeah, keep exploring. Just the Colossus of Rhodes. Alright, yeah, the Bruti are still doing their thing. And then the Scipii are. The Bruti haven't done much of anything. They're kind of
General.
hanging back. Okay, so we're doing pretty good. We have our siege units. We're gonna go ahead and assault this now. And this time we're gonna fight this siege battle, just to see what these look like. Or at least an early game siege battle. After this fight, I will be ending this campaign, checking out the starting conditions of another one, and then we're gonna do one of the historical battles, just to demonstrate some other things.
Taken, and gods be praised, nothing could be found to deny us victory today. With such portents, we need only march upon the enemy. These goals do not need.
See my general there? He's getting a little old. He's got some white in the whiskers.
They cower behind their walls and pray for help. I have never lost a battle against these people. Why should I start losing now, with men such as you at my command? Another victory is at hand. Now, set your minds on the task to come. Strike hard. Strike without mercy.
So you get these little speeches before every fight.
Unit, on my word.
we have here? Why do I have Town Watch with me? How did they get here? I don't want you guys doing anything. You're too weak. Thing back. Oh, you're stuck with the ram, aren't you? Well, okay. Put you in the middle. And, alright. You guys are all Control Group 1. Actually, you're gonna go in with that. You're all Control Group 1. All my archers, you're Control Group 2, I guess? Or no, not all archers. You're gonna hang in the wings, and you're gonna definitely hang in the wings. So you can't charge anything right now. Let's start battle. Gates are just open. That can't be right. Well, apparently it is. Okay. It seems like they might have screwed up here. I don't know. Are you not charging? Yeah, that's weird. They just left the gates open. I don't know why.
Our soldiers have captured the walls! Now is the time to press on and capture this place!
Oh, it's because my spy was here. So the gates were just open. So I didn't need these at all. Everybody, get up in here. Alright, we're gonna go through this quickly then. I was hoping we could see some siege weapons in action, but I guess not. Because it doesn't really matter. Everybody get in the walls here. Let's see the choke point here. AI breaks a little bit on some of the things like that. See, he was smart. He has all his units kind of clumped up here in the middle because he knows that's what I'm going to go for. So, right, my armies are through the gate. Tactics kind of went out the window in this one. He has no answer to my ranged weapons. I've killed his general.
It is time to press the attack.
Oh boy, my general needs to get out of here. It's getting low.
Your leader has fallen before his enemies.
Uh-oh.
Now we will see the true quality of his soldiers.
Tried to get him out of there, but it was too late. See, you can see my units are clumping up. There's, AI just, it screws up sometimes with things like this. And you can, you know, maneuver them around to deal with that. What is left? I don't understand.
Rome demands victory from her generals, and this day is clearly.
So you can break down what you lost. My general died. So we'll see how that works. This is not something I intended to show, but see how succession works in this game.
Leaving the army. Victory and glory.
Okay, so we've occupied the city. So I have another kid. Who's my faction leader now, then? Okay, so it automatically passes. Okay. So which one was that? Okay, so Lucius is now my faction leader. And I want him to go up there and join with my main army. One of these kids can go hang out over here. Doesn't really matter. The agent is there. He's got an army here. That's no good. Okay, but it doesn't really matter. Like I said, we just wanted to kind of see how that worked. We're going to go back to the main menu here. Check a new game. I just want to demonstrate how one of the other factions sort of starts. Let's see. It's one that's going to be very different than the Roman factions.
I have been in the service of Pharaoh for many, many years. It is my task to write down all that is decided. My father did this before me, and his father before him. We have faithfully recorded and seen much. Pharaoh is our lord and master. He is Horus reborn, and will be Osiris in the afterlife. All of Egypt lives and dies by his divine wish. And this is as it should be. We are his children. Pharaoh loves us all. We would conquer the world so that all can know his wise rule. Even if Pharaoh did not ask this, we would do it. His enemies will be struck down. Night and darkness will take them. The sands will be stained red. All this will come to pass, for Pharaoh has decreed it. So it is written. So shall it be.
It's worth pointing out that at this point in history, Egypt was ruled by the Ptolemaic dynasty. And the Ptolemies were one of Alexander the Great's generals when he conquered most of the, at the time, known world and then died. He split his holdings up amongst his three generals. The Ptolemies got Egypt, and some of the other ones got other things. At this point in time, they were pretty much the only ones still alive, and they were kind of sneaky about it, because being a Macedonian family from up here, to maintain their hold on Egypt, they styled themselves as the pharaohs of old. They brought back all of that imagery, all of that styling, renewed worship on the old gods, all of that stuff to increase their hold on the nation and maintain power. So that is how they existed at the same time as the Roman Republic and into the Empire. Obviously, that changed with Julius Caesar. That was kind of the fall of Egypt, and it became a Roman vassal state for a while, around the time of the Roman Empire. So, but you can see, here's our faction leader. Starts off in Alexandria. Let's check out what our armies are here. So they're a little different. We have chariot riders, spearmen, bowmen, peasants.
Ready to sail.
Still have a vessel. We have lots of cities here. Boy, Egypt starts with a ton. Okay, wow. I don't know, go up here.
Aye, my lord.
I don't know if there's going to be anything to conquer here. Going across this is kind of pointless. We'll try.
Yes.
See if there's anything else along the way. Can we go? Here.
Mighty general. Onward. March.
Let's just see what's over there. So you can see we look a little bit different on the campaign map. Our cities look a little bit different. There's the Great Pyramids. We have different buildings that we can build. Still the same win condition, you just need to hold 50 provinces. But again, a little bit different, and all of the major factions are like that. Or all of the factions are like that, I should say. They all have different start positions. different units. There isn't really a tech tree in this game, at least from what I remember. I don't think there is, yeah. So I don't have a Senate to deal with. Check out the other factions. I don't know anything about them. I haven't seen them. Here's my family and my finances. Yeah, Eurydice, very strong Egyptian name there. But again, they told me they even took on, in some cases, Egyptian-sounding names to give themselves more legitimacy. But yeah, enough of the history lesson. Let's go fight. Go to the main menu. What we're going to do instead is you can do custom battles if you want. So you can set what armies are going to be fighting in what maps, or you can do a historical one. So, you can see this was a famous battle against the Seleucids. This was when the Seleucid Empire took over Sparta. Yeah, okay, this was I think this is the really famous one, where... Okay, yeah. This was one of Julius Caesar's contemporaries attempted to capture more of Parthia and died infamously. He was captured and the Parthians poured molten gold down his throat. One of the legends about this battle, though, and the reason why the name popped up in my head, is that supposedly some of the legions that fought in this battle weren't killed. They were instead sent to the far east of the Parthian Empire and made it all the way to China. It's a famous rumor, debatable whether it actually happened. We're going to do one of the most famous battles, though. Teutoburg Forest. And this was a battle fairly early in Augustus's reign, where his legions were ambushed and killed in the German forests. So, let's do it. But yeah, this was never going to be a longer stream, just because
This is the year 9
the game gets a
AD.
little repetitive, but
The place, Germania, beyond the Empire's border. This is the army of Quintilius Varus, sent north by Augustus to pacify the Germans. Guided by a trusted local chieftain, Arminius, the legion is heading back to winter camp. But life on the frontier can be treacherous, brutal, and short. Thanks to Arminius, the Romans are marching into danger. Hidden in the forest, there's an army of savage German warriors, fired up and thirsty for Roman blood. As the danger becomes obvious, Varus gallops to the head of the column. He has to get his men back to the fort before sunset. Once darkness falls, the Germans will be able to kill them at will. This is a chance for Varus to prove that he has the right stuff. That he is a noble Roman, and a noble Roman general at that. If he isn't, he'll be a noble Roman corpse by sunset, and no one will get home.
spoilers.
The camp is in sight. One last push by the Romans should see them home, but without enough survivors, this will be a black day for Rome and a massive victory for the barbarians.
So again, this is a famous battle. I picked it for a reason. It's the one a lot of people know. The Roman army was decimated in this battle, and it started a massive campaign where the Roman legions pacified Germany as a result. So it was kind of a short-lived victory for the German people, or for the German barbarians at the time, because then, yeah, it got Augustus and his successors to turn their full attention to the Germans and deal with them, so. Which, of course, had the unintended long-range goal of spreading the empire too thin, although that took quite a long time. We won't debate the fall of Rome here. It's really cinematic. Wow, they went all out for this. I'm not controlling anything, by the way. This is still just a cutscene. This is setting the stage for this battle that I get to control right now. So you can see all of the little red pips on the map here. The enemy. That's me in a nice line here, ripe for the ambushing. Again, historically, didn't go so well. This is a campaign battle that you get a chance to try to win, see if you can. It is very difficult to, though. What I want to do? You guys go over there. Let's go over there. Units are over here. No, that's a lot. There's nothing else in front of me. So I can about face with these and deal with what's on that side. Okay. Or is there more? It's hard to tell. A lot of trees. I know there is. Okay.
Your general now lies dead because of his foolishness. His men will lose heart.
Boy, that ended quickly, didn't it? Again, you can see the balance of power is shifting. I'm losing quite a lot of enemies, or quite a lot of units. As far as the game is concerned, the Roman units are much stronger. They have higher attack, higher armor, all that good stuff. But without the ability to set your units, and the fact that you are losing significantly in terms of numbers, this is a very hard-fought battle. We'll almost certainly lose this. Again, this is just to kind of demonstrate how it does the historical battles. And picking one that lots of people know. I think this battle might just straight up be the tutorial in Rome 2, if I'm remembering correctly. Lost my entire cavalry there, didn't I? Wow. We're just gonna clump everybody together. Everybody fight. Speed up a little bit. Get everything kind of back together here. What's going on here? Those archers over there in the woods. I guess my cavalry were worthless against that. So you can see they're still they're clumping up. You really have to micromanage the AI in this game, otherwise things like this happen. They just decided not to fight the berserkers behind them. Instead, they're focused hard on what's going on in front. So again, a battle like this is a huge test of someone who's actually good at this game, or is at the very least more familiar with it. Again, it's been a long time. I'm much more used to the modern ones. We need to keep moving on here. Let's see if we can get back into town, if that's even possible. It's got the fastest speed, just run there. Or the Germans are just harrying us as we go.
The enemy general is running away. This is no way for a leader to behave, but in battle, it's beyond belief.
I'm gonna keep my cohort back to distract the enemy a little bit, just so these other units can make it. See if it shows me my objective. I don't think it does. Destroy or rout all enemies, capture camp with at least 100 allied soldiers. So yeah, that's not gonna happen. But you can see there's a bunch of enemies coming up. So yeah, in terms of a remaster, this is good because they just touched it up. That's all it should be. This is still all the old mechanics. It's the old graphic style. It looks and sounds better. That's all there is to it. This is what you want out of a remaster. Whereas a remake would be doing this game again, but better. So, you know, for example, something like like Total War 2 is a sequel to this, right? And it does this exact same game, but different, and in some cases better. But it's capturing really weird in OBS. It looks fine on stream. Right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just noticed that. Like, I just glanced at OBS for the first time, and realized it's got some kind of little hang-ups there. But it looks okay on stream itself, so... If it doesn't, my apologies. I should have noticed that earlier. But my unit's decimated. See the defeat screen here in a second. You guys escaped somehow. You killed a lot of stuff too. Alright, let's get this defeat over with. Fight these dogs. You've been clearly defeated.
So many good Romans have died for no purpose. But from this, victory will spring afresh.
So again, we lost. Happens. I assumed it would. Just wanted to showcase this game and some of the things in it. It's worth pointing out this game does include both of the expansion packs to this, the Barbarians and the Rise of Alexander. They are separate options in one of the launchers for this game. So whenever you launch it, you get the choice to do just base Rome, Barbarians, or Alexander. So this is just base Rome. Slightly different campaign maps, some other refinements in them. We'll see how that plays out as far as the modding scene for this game. They said that mods could be just straight up ported because it is a remaster. See how that goes. Obviously I didn't test it for this because this game's been out for a matter of hours at this point, so I didn't have time for that. But yeah, this is Rome Total War Remastered, or Total War Rome Remastered. They switched the word order around later on in the series. Not much else to say about this. Like I said, this, at the risk of sounding bad, yeah, this game can get repetitive. You're doing a lot of the same thing. But if you're into this sort of game, this is a good one. It's dirt cheap. It's $30 or $15 if you own the original. And I think you can pick up the original for like $5. So essentially this is a $20 game max, which was great. Normally I don't pre-order games anymore. But this one was a no-brainer. It was like for $15, you know, that's the cost of lunch pretty much. Depending on where you go. and this is one I'll definitely be playing a little bit more of off stream, especially once the mods get going for it. And if nothing else, I wanted to support this and show them, like, hey, you should remaster Medieval 2 next, because that was my personal favorite. So, of the old ones at least. Obviously, I love the Warhammer ones now. But yeah, this was great. I'm glad that this turned out as good as it did. So, and with that, ooh, no outro music. That's right, because I had it turned off for the last one. A little bit different, you know, this game a little bit different than what we've been streaming lately, and just what we would stream in general. But it's good to branch out. Not that we don't, as it is. But again, I think this is our first strategy game, so. Anyway, as always, whether you were here live or watching the VOD, we do hope you appreciate it, and enjoy it. Yeah, we hope you enjoy it. We appreciate it that you were here or watching the VOD. Can't think. But yeah, until next time, have a good one.